one hand, I had the shawarma in one hand on the steering. It was a normal thing going into the corner at 180, 190 kilometers per hour. Forgot to turn on the tractions. So, the DCT thought maybe I wanted some action because of the way the terrain just shifted. It downshifted. When it downshifted, the back just, whilst it was going, she just spun. No, I had to hold the shawarma and the steering at the same time, and the rear tire hits the pavement. And I was at the back seat. I was not going in the driving seat. Like, I just moved me somewhere else. Hello guys, Kelvin here from Stancaster Auto-Works, right here with my boy ISSALINKOP. We are breaking it down, obviously. I was born in 1992, 17th November 1992, to two beautiful parents, and they've always told me I've always loved cars. Ever since I was young, my dad has always been a big fan of BMW, so I grew up in a BMW family, and I've been exposed to the art of motorsports because obviously I was having my time with the cars. But I mean, it wasn't smooth sailing from the start. There were a lot of hurdles in the way. I mean, they never fully supported what I was passionate about. That was cars. And obviously at the time, there was not anything fixated on a specific sector when it comes to the automotive industry. Let's say if it comes to aesthetics, like bodywork, spraying or mechanical, I was just diversifying. I was versatile. I was everywhere. So I had to be hiding projects. Let me start from Accra Academy. So when I moved from Monistar to Accra Academy, Form 2, Form 3. So we started a 4-year program, the SS4. So after SS3, most of our curriculum for the year or for the 3 years had been exhausted. So courses like core math and stuff like that, we had already finished. So we're having a lot of freedom in school. So he's late now, Bedu Corantin, my certain partner, and I used to go do a lot of car deals. That's how I got to meet Omar Shaikh and Moabe Shaikh. They've been good friends for a very long time. They used to sell cars. They used to trade cars. They were working with Max Mat at the time. So since we had free time, we used to take the car, sell, make a profit, 500 CDs, 400 CDs, and whatnot. Yeah. So it started from there, and I got my first car, which was an E46 BMW. That was my mom's old car. It was a diesel, and we had done some conversion, and it didn't go right. So I've been sitting for the longest, and that was my first project car, an E46. I was linked to Bazalic Performance through Dennis Boatin, and Mechanic, also known as Nega, was able to create something nice around the car, like a very beautiful body kit. I was in Legon at the moment, so that was from Accra Academy to Legon, level 200, beautiful body kit. Was driving all over campus, head over heels. Everybody was astonished. It looked so good. But, since I was not into flexing and all of that, the interior was bad. I mean, the day I even brought it to those couples, it was very dirty. I was more concerned about the looks than, the finishing. So decided to, add some more stuff. There was wrap and a lot of other stuff. I remember I wrote, there was an description at the back, Stunner 1 and all of that, yeah. So it grew up from the love of customization, grew up from university especially. I got in tune with Kobe Beck on Beck Specs. So at my free times, I rush over to his with the 46, and we do some work together, more of like an intern. The exhaust modifications, the business side of me started drawing in customers because, I can't just go there. We just be sitting there talking about cars every day. So I started bringing in customers. Kobe always commended me as like a student businessman, you're bringing a lot of business here and there. And it was good. But at the time, Stamcast was just Stamcast. It was just a way, you know, we're taking everything as a hobby or for play. So let's say a friend brings over his car, I give him my idea on how it looks, get a sprayer, get some bodyworks guys to come on board, make it happen, and everybody comments it. So I was very good. You should take it serious. So around 2014, my very good friend Raphael Osekre, asked me why aren't you putting it on Instagram? I was like, oh, I know it's not that big a deal. It's just blah 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 blah. He forced then I put on Instagram, and it just took off from there. You know, the very first conversion we did was an E350 Mercedes W212. We upgraded it to the second gen 63 212, and we go about 25,000 likes. This is 2015, 2016 about to get 25,000 likes about close to 10 years ago was no joke. So we just became very popular on the internet. Everybody started speaking about Stamcast. You know, initially it was not a plan to expand it this big for it to be a business, but with the recommendations and with the feedback we're getting from people, I had no other choice than to, you know, put my all into it. I mean, it's taken a lot to get the company to where it is now, and I believe a lot of past experiences have aided us to where we are now. Also, not forgetting the hand of God in all the affairs, which has always been important throughout the process. The experience built over time, there's a lot goes into maintaining and building a company of this capacity. Yes, you know, you have a lot of people always trying to speak badly or negatively about stuff. You have issues popping up from time to time, some intentionally inflicted, some also carelessness, and some also lack of experience. So it's a learning curve throughout the whole process, and it's been glorious ever since. I mean, we started off with attachments. Now we are building our own custom body kits. We are able to build one-off body kits. We build our bridge cars. We are able to build cars to our satisfaction, which will cost you millions in different countries. We're able to do it easily, and nothing beats us. We are always breaking the standard, overturning protocols. We are also bringing up, I also forgot, I'm also the president of Drift Artists Africa. So we are connecting Africa through Motorsport. So we are in Ethiopia, we are in South Africa, we are in Nigeria, we are in Ghana. We are also will soon to be in Tanzania. As we speak, we now have a show in Togo this weekend. So we are connecting Africa. With time, in a few months or years to come, it should be worldwide. So, I mean, with the influence of people like ISSALINKOP and some of our partners, we believe in a few months to come, we should be where we are supposed to be.
Can you tell us about the Exo, how the idea came about?
So the Exo is two things: efficiency in the form of weight saving, and also looks, aesthetics. The Exo, I needed it to look really menacing. I needed it to look scary. So the only way to go was to custom build it, the skeleton, the cage build, also not through the process. So we chopped off the body. It's originally the car is an E85 BMW Z4, which is already very difficult to come by. I'm sure all of you guys who know I made a lot of falls before I was able to chance on this. And funny enough, in my desperation, I ended up buying this Z4, which was in the worst of conditions. I need those filler everywhere, primer everywhere. I got it for a very good deal, for the very best deal, but you know, I didn't. When I had the car towed to the show, that's when I realized that now this was the worst purchase ever. So I had it packed in front of the shop for the longest time, for about 3 months, And we wanted to build an Exo with the E30 chassis. So we bought 2 E30s, reckless and I. And mine was already a project car. The person had stopped the project. He had chopped off the rear end. He wanted it to be a pickup. And Reckless's was not that bad an E30. So, you know, the E30s have aged pretty well. So there's a lot of rust. To get the E30 in the very best of conditions is near impossible. So we had to work with it. First do the body works before we start chopping them off. And I realized the body works was just taking a lot of time. I mean, and we were still on Reckless's and they hadn't moved to mine. And I looked like a rust on mine. I was like, nah, with what I want to do, there's no way I need something firmer. So I was standing in front of the shop one day and it just occurred to me, is that for, you know, the body is deteriorated and with the build you want to do is make sure you need a chassis and it's a very strong, the structural integrity of that car was very strong. They just had a few patches here and there. So I speak to Bezanik and say, no, let's discard the E30 and go in for the Z4. He agrees. At that time, we were on a project for, the project has been discontinued now for Prime. We put a V8 in the E30 and that was the very first of its kind. So we were not able to spark it. It was sitting for the longest. So what happened was, during the process of us building the cage body for the Exo, the R&D, research and development from that E30 was transferred to this. So it didn't take time, it didn't take us any much time on the Exo. That's wiring it up, putting the powertrain and the drivetrain and all of that. What took most of the time was the manifolds, the headers, because the allowance between the firewall and the headers was very close, and the steering rod, the one which goes into the steering rack, yes, it was touching at some point. So it was serious work. And the thing about the headers, they all need to be equal length. Otherwise, you don't have the, you know, the sound guys who know what I'm talking about. So that's the Exo. That was the it wasn't a major problem with that, but I think that was and we had a very short timeline with the Exo, very short timeline. That was when the maiden edition of Drift Fantasy was spoken of. We had to rush it. I mean, during the course of the show, the car had to be rushed to the show because, you know, we were having issues with the drift cars over there. So we needed backup. Originally, because we were not able to meet the deadline, it wasn't supposed to be there, but I mean, we had no other choice than to pay me there. Yeah, but honestly, the Exo has seen a lot of changes to get it to where it is now. It performs effortlessly now. When you drift that car, you feel like you have 1,000 horsepower under your feet, which is what I've always wanted from it. But funny enough, we've grown tired of the power already. So the boys are saying TRX or SRT or Hellcat, I don't know. So maybe we are going 700 horsepower. Currently at 400, so 300 more. There's a new Exo coming up. That's all I can see, so stay tuned. There are new projects also coming up. I mean, we also wish for everybody in the community, especially, to be more, they should be much more open with each other, because I feel everybody's reserved. You go to car shows, you see a lot of, you know, hits, speeches here and there, and all of that. So it deters and it distorts the whole community, which is already very minute. So I would advise all of us, especially the leaders of all the various car platforms, to come together so we're able to grow up this industry, because we need to polish it up. There's a lot of stuff going on which deters future investors, prominent investors, from looking this way, because in some scenarios you hear people trying to put in help and the same group or community shutting down the help, and it's not going to help us in any way. So we need to all come together and make this thing work, especially for the youth. They need to have something to yearn for. It shouldn't only be about who has the latest car and all of that. It should be a passion Recently I was reached out to by a young guy. He builds these model cars from scratch. He did a few renderings for Despites, which he told me Kennedy received on Despites' behalf, which is good. So when we're able to make this community work, we create opportunities for people like this, for content creators, YouTubers, a lot of stuff. So we should make it work. Lowly cars, the bikes, the side-by-sides. We should all come together and put Ghana on the map. When we go out there, especially to South Africa, it's different out there. There's unity. Even though they don't know each other, when they meet up at the car meets, nobody hates anybody. Everybody is just vital of everyone. Everybody will talk to everyone. So around was this in 2017 or 2015, 2016, I got a little grip and spun out a Porsche. It was a Porsche. Was it a Boxster or a Cayman? A friend's Cayman. I was in a corner. I was cornering a bit. So, and before cornering, the ESP lights and what is it? ESP or ETP? ECP also in Audi. It's Audi Porsche, so they all have the same technology. So the light popped off. I think it was the ABS light rather, and I didn't take heed to it. So, as crazy as I was, very tight corner. And at that point, there was this thing with the boys who can corner faster. Yeah. So it was normal. It was a normal thing going into the corner at 180, 190 kilometers per hour. Yeah, it was quite normal, and it was a very tight gear. I was doing it with pegs, so you should know it was very crazy, not quite crazy. So this Porsche decides to, take all the aints off. It decided on its own. No, I didn't turn it off. The car decided on its own to turn off all the aints. Cornered, came out of the corner nicely, and the back spun out. The back spun out. There's a pavement and like there's a breaker, there's a retaining wall or something. So now the car is spinning in between. And at that point, I had no experience of drifting of any sort. So it's not like something I could have corrected at the time. So what happened was, luckily enough, I didn't go into the wall. The front bumper, there was a pole. I think this diversion pole or something, one of these one poles. It spun, the front clipped the pole. Lucky it didn't side swipe. It just flipped the number plate off, and the rear tire hits the pavement, so and it just came to a stop. It just came to a stop at the apex of the pavement. And I was at the back seat. I was not going in the driving seat. Like, I just moved me somewhere else. So I came out. I was like, "What's going on?" Everybody was just rushing towards the car. Went around. It didn't look that bad. Until I look at the back tire and the back. So I called my friend. He works on Porsche's, Bismarck. So we quickly fixed the front bumper. It was not, the damage wasn't that serious, but the most damage was at the rear, where the assembly for the hub was. That's where the most damage was. We ordered the parts and fixed the round. Said I've also had a close call with a BMW M3 E92. Luckily enough, at the time, I had a lot of experience. Not a lot. I had a little bit of experience with drifting because my guys were allowing me to spend from time to time at their yard. So what happened was, it was raining. It was a raining day, and we decided to go and get shawarma. I was with Felix, and for no reason. So around Matayoko also, and it was raining heavily. Like, it was really raining. It was raining heavy, and the M3's back till happy. So it was just till happy. Very nice. Got to lose at some places. Nicely, easily and nicely controlled. Got to Mawako, bought the shawarma, go back into the car. On my way back, on Penkwa, the bridge, Abenkwa Bridge. So if you are very familiar with that section of the road, there's a bump on the far left, the one closer to the road divider. Yes, so when you just pass the bridge about 15 meters, it bumps up and downwards. So one hand, I had the shawarma in one hand on the steering. And Felix was also enjoying the shawarma. So, I know that section. So I just went right a little. So the driver's side tire, driver front and back tire went over the bump, and the two tires on the right were on the smooth path of the road. I forgot to turn on the tractions. So, the DCT thought maybe I wanted some action because of the way the terrain just shifted. It downshifted. When it downshifted, the back just, whilst it was going, she just spun, and now I'm facing the road and back means straight away like this. I was just facing, so it's like I'm about to run into this concrete doorway. So one only thing, I think, was it? So I think though I had to hold the shawarma and the steering at the same time, and it splattered all over the roof to the window, or was it the other way around? I said I had to keep controlling back and just pull the car back, pull the car back straight. I said no way, how's this good job? And I drove very, very, very slowly while we back. So I mean, with all the experience I've gained with drifting, I should be, I feel eligible to be given on the roads, but I mean, you have to always consider other road uses. I mean, you shouldn't go on the road and feel like you are some King Kong. There are spaces for such stuff. So we can freestyle for days, freestyle peel off. I mean, with 11s everywhere, but it doesn't make sense. I mean, there are places for that. With the culture brewing, we don't want people to, speak badly about it, to tarnish the image of something which hasn't already taken form. So we plead everyone should be of their best behaviors. All the sports car owners, the JDM boys, the back Avzo boys, I beg of you. We are all trying to make this thing happen, and not to have a lot of criticisms from the government especially, and also from our older people who find it more difficult to accept the culture. So everybody should be of their best behaviors. Drift Hunters, Ghana Auto Show would always create the opportunities for all of us to, exploit our skills and our talents. So be of your best behaviors. Kelvin here from Slackers 2X.